Hey everybody, welcome to KO Airbrushing Tuesday tutorials. Probably not going to get it up until Wednesday, but doing it Tuesday anyway. So what I'm doing right now is we started working on that frame. So now we're going to continue working on the main subject in that frame. The subject matter has been decided on as a female biomechanical. So that's what we're going to work on. I've already got the border masked off. I already have the stencil set up and cut, and we're just going to paint until we're done. This is probably going to take 2, maybe 3 tutorial sessions to finish up. But yeah, we'll do it all until it's finished up. The only part I wanted to get it masked and get the stencil cut before we started, just to save a bunch of time. But okay, so let's get turned around and we'll get right to it. Okay, so this is the frame that we did before in a previous tutorial. And this is the subject matter that I have picked to turn into a Bio-mech. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to lay down a white undercoat under her face and under her body. And this is not going to be a solid white. This is just going to be laying in some colors so that we know where she's going to be. So for right now, like I said, I'm just laying in just a very, very base white. I just want to separate her from the background. And then we'll go back in and we'll start lightening up the white in certain areas. And I don't mind if her face comes up because that's going to be the next piece that gets painted white. Like I said, I don't want it to be pure white, but this has to be built up a little bit. Now for this part of the tutorial, we're just going to get her roughed in. And because once she's roughed in, I'm going to have to go back in and sketch everything out again. So there'll be another tutorial of me sketching everything out and getting it ready to go. And this is always an important line, because this actually sets the shape of her face so much more. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. So I can take that off, I can take that off. Sorry, just reloading the paint. So like I said, just, slowly bringing her out. So once we're done laying in this little bit of color, or this little bit of white here, and again, like I said, this is just the undercoat. This is what we're going to build everything from. But this will allow me to locate everything. And that's basically what this part is all about, is just getting everything located that you want. And then as we start building her up, we'll be building her up using Payne's Gray. And again, in her face here, I just want to start separating her chin. So at this point, I mean, you can start now lightening areas up. just building up the areas that are going to be the brightest. So again, just continuing to build this, slowly building up your whites. Because at this point you don't need to do this fast. And you also don't need to be tight right now. We're not detailing, we're just building. So we're building shapes. That's all we're doing here. There will be no absolute lines until later. Just building shapes. So what I'm looking at is I'm actually looking at this piece of the stencil that I took out of her. But again, I'm just building up some lighter areas, and that will give us plenty to work with.
So again, just picking out some of the lighter areas. This is going to be a little lighter back here, but it's also going to be. Okay, so that's going to give us more than enough now to work with for shaping that, getting our dimensions and where everything is supposed to go. I am going to add just a little bit more white into the face. And like I said, this doesn't have to be accurate at all right now. We're just trying to find things. And so this is, I'm just spraying a very, very thin down white as always. Okay. So now I can actually take her collar off, and that's also the collar of her jacket as well. And again, just keep that piece sitting here so you know what you're doing and where you're at. The collar is going to be black, so I'm not really going to do a lot with that right now for color. And again, like I said, this can all be tightened up as we go. We're just finding stuff. That's all we're doing. And another reason I want to kind of keep things really loose right now is because we're going to be adding in all sorts of biomechanical parts in her. So there'll be all sorts of, I don't know if it's going to be steampunk yet, or I don't know. And this is her collar on her coat. Okay, so I got some more stencils cut here. Since I stopped the last part of the feed, I went and cut stencils, got everything set up and ready to go here for the next pass. So the first thing I want to do is I just want to put in a little bit of a highlight here at the top of her arm, just to separate it from the rest of her. And this one really doesn't need to be much. Because there will be a lot of detailing and stuff going on in her arms. Seeing as she's a Bio-mech, there will be tubes and stuff coming in and out. And I also do want to keep her wearing a dark outfit like she is here. Okay, so next step now, I just need to change colors. Okay, switching over to a Payne's gray color now. Like I said, we've got the top edge of her arm laid in now, so we're good there. So now what I want to do is I want to put a shadow underneath her breasts. Right now this doesn't have to be, again, a huge shadow. We're just locating things still a little bit more carefully now this time. Okay, and then we want to lift this piece out because we want to work that shadow there a little bit more. Okay, yeah, now we should be able to take that out. She's starting to get some shape. Okay. So like I said, I was just trying to find everything in her chest. That's done now, so we'll move up to this piece here. You can kind of get a look at her face too. Okay, so I need to put a shadow underneath that collar and around the edges of it. The nice thing about using this Payne's Gray is it's dark enough that it's not going to affect your blacks too much, and you can hit your blacks later. Again, here I'm just trying to clean up this edge. Okay. I'm just going to stop the feed, change some stencils again here. And one of the things, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but the Payne's Gray that I use does have a little bit of a brown in it. So you're getting kind of a flesh tone as you're laying in your undercoat, eh? So that's something you should remember when you're doing your Payne's Gray or whatever you're working on, is that it definitely makes a difference to put a little bit of a rusty color into it if you're working on flesh tones. If you're not, you can just stay with the blue. But I make up two different Payne's Grays. I make one with a brown and I make one with a blue. And by doing that, it really makes it, like, I find that depending on the color tone you're going with, like I like the brown, it warms things up. I could have gone with the blue on this because she is going to be biomechanical, but I didn't want her to be dead. I want her to be, her Bio-mech is going to be just enhancements. That's all it's going to be. So like her eyes and things like that. That's where most of the enhancement is going to be. There's going to be some tubing in her arms and stuff like that. But yeah, mainly the Bio-mech in her is just going to be enhancements that don't affect the way she looks as much. Okay, I'm going to change these stencils and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, ready to start laying a little bit in on her face here. So this is just so that we can find everything. So now we'll know where her nose is. We'll know where her eyes are. Actually, I'm going to throw some white into her eyes here just to make them stand out a little bit better. There's not a lot of white up there to start with. Okay, just enough white in her eyes just so that we know where they are. So we're going to do the same on the top edge of the lips. Okay, now we can take that off and then we'll know where everything is now. So the only thing I've got left to do here to finish up this stage is just to cut the bottom piece of the lips. I'm going to get that done, and next week we'll start working on the freehanding. I still have lots of client work to do, so I've got to kind of break this up a little bit. So yeah, I'll be back again next week with the next stage of this. We'll take this off right now so you can see where she's at. But now at least we know where everything is. So now I can also start contemplating where I want to put all the biomechanical stuff and how I want to do the biomechanical stuff. Not sure if her eyes are going to stay white or not. They might end up being cameras, which I think would be kind of cool. But there we go. Now we're starting to find a person in there. Alright everybody, thank you very much for stopping in and checking out this tutorial so far. Now that we've got the stencil work and stuff laid in there, things will be a lot more freehand, so it'll go quicker. Stenciling always seems to take a lot of time. So that's basically what I wanted to do in this part of the feed, was just show you the stenciling and how I do it. The stencils I'm using are just regular computer paper. I just print them, I use them once so that I never have to worry about using them again. So that's the nice thing about using them that way. Print them off, cut out what you want, and away you go. You can kind of put them back together again, not as well as some of the heavier papers, but it does work, that's for sure. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the feed so far, the tutorial so far. If you want to catch live feeds, come over to my airbrushing page, KO Airbrushing on Facebook. I do live feeds over there. There'll be one tonight again. And the stuff I work on over there is all client work. So yeah, feel free, come on over and join us. And I will be back next week with the continuation on this piece. Thanks everybody.